Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing the movie Ambulance. Where is my marker? It's in my pocket. Just got back from watching it. One of the better ones I've seen in a bit. It's actually probably gonna go to movies literally all the time. But even just from reading the overview, it sounded like it was gonna be a good one. So break down the plot synopsis best I can. Give you my overall grade, major themes, and probably one similar movie for this one. And so, just reading the overview, what do we have? It says, needing money to cover his wife's medical bills, a decorated veteran teams up with his adoptive brother to steal $32 million from a Los Angeles bank. However, when their getaway goes spectacularly wrong, the desperate thieves hijack an ambulance that's carrying a severely wounded cop and an EMT worker. Caught in a high-speed chase, the two siblings must figure out a way to outrun the law while keeping their hostages alive. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal as Danny Sharp. So you have the two adoptive brothers. You got Danny Sharp and Will Sharp. Danny's white, Jake Gyllenhaal. Will's black. I did not recognize him by name. But Abdul Mateen II. And so, Will Sharp is trying to. Movie starts off. You see, it's in Los Angeles, modern times. Will Sharp is on the phone with Veteran Affairs, basically trying to get approval for his wife, Amy Sharp. They have an infant son, or infant baby. I think it's a son. Yeah, it's a son. And Amy, I think he has cancer, but she needs some sort of surgery. And so Will Sharp's he's gonna go apply for a forklift job, and he's got an interview. So he goes to his brother. Amy says, "We don't need your brother Danny." So he goes to Danny's shop. And you don't really learn until the end, but you go into the shop and there's another black dude who's Danny's assistant or secretary, the front desk person, and Will goes in there, says, I see Danny. This garage door opens up. There's all of these luxury cars going on, and basically they reminisce a little bit about their father. I think it's LT is what they call him. They don't really use the name much, but again, Will's adopted, I think, because again, one's white, one's black, but I think the father is Danny's actual biological father. And so Will asks him for a loan. I think he asked him for I think he says $231, maybe $231,000 for, that sounds appropriate for a cancer treatment or something. So probably $231,000. Danny's all of my money and finances are tied up in this job we're doing, and he's literally loading up to go do the bank robbery. So he's got a crew coming, Danny does, and they're going to go steal. There's some one-off day where a certain bank has $32 million in cash, and they've learned about it, so they're going to stick up the place and take the money. And so Will's nah, I don't really want to do this. I wanted either a loan or maybe a small job, not trying to do the biggest bank robbery known to LA County since Nam. Nam was not a bank robbery in LA County, but, just got to throw that in there. I love saying that, since Nam. I was born in 93. But sorry. But so they're loading up to go do this bank robbery. There's a couple other minor characters I don't have written down up here, and so they go start to do the bank robbery. They have this big getaway vehicle, just this big truck type of deal, and then they're going to do the bank robbery. At the same time, you meet the EMT, Cam Thomas, who has a major role, and she has a male partner, not a sexual partner, but just a fellow EMT that rides around with her. And so they're getting to know each other. Cam Thomas has an initial scene where she helps a little girl named Lindsay. Basically, it's a car accident, and a 4 or 5-year-old girl gets impaled by some rebar. So Cam shows up, helps get the rebar off, stabilizes her, gets her to the hospital. And then her partner's like, "Don't you want to see what happens after?" And she's like, "Nope, this is a job. I show up, I help people, and then I forget about it once they're at the hospital." At that same time, you have Officer Zach and another officer, again another black dude. Don't have him up here. He plays a pretty decent role. Let's see if I can find him real quick. Which one is he? Probably Officer Mark, Cedric Sanders. And so, Officer Zach has a crush on this girl named Kim Daniels that works at the bank. He's talking with just close it down again, Officer Mark. And Officer Zach's a rookie. Officer Mark's is like his ride around, or I don't know if it's training, but just his senior officer that's his partner as well. And so, Officer Mark's like, "No, bro, stop being a bitch. Go tell Kim Daniels you like her." So, they're literally driving a police vehicle, swings it around, and goes back to the bank. And so, Officer Zach's working up the courage. He goes to open the bank, but the bank is locked. And who answers the door? Danny Sharp, Jake Gyllenhaal. And so, basically the robbery is underway. And so you have all of the tape clerks tied up under the floor, a bunch of stick-up men, hiding so the officer doesn't see them. And basically, Officer Zach's like, "I want to open a savings account," but, he's really just trying to get in there to talk to Kim. And so, Jake's, again, talking with him like he's like the bank manager, and Officer Zach, Danny Sharp says, her name's Kim something, and it's not the correct name. Officer Zach goes up to the register to talk to her, and again, there's a gunman literally under the register, like, that the officer can't see, sticking up the whole place. And they have a whole crew in there. And so, Officer Zach walks up there, and then he sees like just like the name tag, and it's not Kim, whatever Danny told her. So Officer Zach immediately realizes something's off, turns around. Danny Sharp pulls out a gun, and he's like, "Officer Zach, raise your hand and wave to Officer Mark like everything's going fine." And at the same time, you have, just more police officers outside of the bank, and they're directed by Captain Monroe, and they've been following the stick-up crew or the bank robbery, the hit team for some time, and they basically wait till they get out of the bank so it's not a bloodbath with all of the shootout inside the bank. So they're plotting to catch them as soon as they come out with the money at all. And so he takes Officer Zach hostage, and they play it off for a little bit. Their getaway driver, the big truck that they drove, kind of breaks down right out front. Officer Mark goes and helps him, and get the truck back going. And so after that, Officer Mark pretty much sees people like moving money, sees it's a robbery, and then shit just pops off. Big gun battle, everyone's shooting at everybody. It's actually kind of a funny scene. The getaway driver, again, it's not a super for $32 million. You don't see like any planning of the robbery. It's a pretty sloppy job so far. So the getaway driver goes to the wrong door, but as he's driving up there, again, the bullets are raining everywhere at this point. Everyone's scattering, bunch of police officers, bunch of bank robbers are all scattered around. And so the getaway driver goes up to this door as one of the guys is running out and literally squishes him in half. Like, he doesn't like explode, but he pulls his body out, and you see it's just again run over through his midsection, both his legs, severely compoundedly fractured, twisting left anyway, and he's like, "What did you do to my legs?" I think he got run over, bro. And so that guy's dead. Probably not 2-3 seconds later, the getaway driver takes one to the fucking dome, blood splatter, he's gone. So they're not in the movie much. Danny Sharp and Will Sharp, they both have backpacks full of money, and they're trying to escape. EMT Cam Thomas and her partner are now coming to the scene because they have injured people. There's again massive gunfight in the middle of Los Angeles, and so Danny Sharp and Will Sharp, they're looking for a way out of the bank. They run into a cop. They're able to control him for a little bit. Officer Zach starts, he makes a run at Danny, and he starts beating up Danny, and then Will shoots him twice. Once in the abdomen and once in the leg. And so now you have a wounded cop. Again, remember, Will Sharp is just going for a small loan, and now he's shooting cops and robbing banks for $32 million. So now he's in it full bore, Well, he was in full bore for the robbery anyway. But, you know, they're like, you know, what do we do? What do we do? But they just run and leave him. The EMT comes, Cam Thomas comes to help Officer Zach, puts him in the ambulance, and goes to drive away. Danny and Will are both very trapped now, and so they, you know, the EMT, the ambulance is trying to leave the bank area, and Danny, or one of them, puts him at gunpoint and is like, no, let's get in here. And so that's kind of like the setup for the whole movie, is you have a wounded cop in the back, the EMT, Cam Thomas, in the ride as well, and then Danny and Will, and now you start the big long police chase. They get stopped initially by other police officers. Will Sharp throws on the EMT jacket and is like, you know, we have a wounded cop, and Jake Gyllenhaal, Danny, is sitting behind like some place where you can't see. The other police officers open up the back, see the wounded cop, don't see Danny, they let him through. So they let him through, and then they find one of Cam Thomas's partner gets like pistol whips and gets knocked out. Another cop revives that guy and is like, you know, where's your ambulance? He's like, oh, they took it. So now they know they're in an ambulance. They very quickly pick back up on the one that's leaving, and so now they're just driving around trying to get away. The officer Zach, he's bleeding out pretty bad, and again now all of the police officers are very onto it because you don't kill cops, you don't shoot cops, and so they're just chasing him. Again, you meet Captain Monroe, who's leading the LA team. You have another FBI agent. I'm not sure. I think it's an FBI agent gets involved. You first see him, Agent Anson, by Keir O'Donnell. But he's at a couples meeting with his husband, and he gets a call, like, you know, they're talking in there like, there's no bank robbers anymore. And then he gets a text message, and it's like, major bank robbery going on right now. So he has to leave the couples counseling to go do that. And it turns out the FBI agent, Anson, knows Danny Sharp from back when. Danny went to the FBI training academy, just like learn their procedures, because Danny's biological father, their father, Danny and Will, was a big bank robber, and I guess Danny doesn't really kill people, but his father certainly did, at least at this point in the movie, and so he's kind of following in father's footsteps. And so you meet the FBI agent and Captain Monroe go back and forth, again, just about, you know, who's the biggest law dick on the scene type of deal, which you see on any TV show ever. But they have a couple things like that. You meet one other person that has a pretty prominent role. I can't even see her name at all. Lieutenant D.H. ... but played by Olivia Stambulia. So she has like a nickname as well. But they're kind of like Captain Monroe and her like driving around with just this tech stuff. You got choppers following the ambulance. You got high-speed chases. Will turns out to be a very good driver. I don't know if he actually drove professionally or something, but they made a reference to like Formula One. I don't know if that was just a joke, but he's very good at evading the police. So they go on this different chase, and then EMT Cam Thomas again is in the back trying to work on Officer Zach. Officer Zach is bleeding pretty bad at this point. She only is aware about the gunshot wound to the leg. Opens up his shirt and sees one to the abdomen. And he's like, you know, she's like, he's bleeding out. If a cop dies, you guys are dead, going to jail today. Which they're going to go to jail and die today anyway. Just robbed a bank. But, so there's like, you know, we need to work on him, stop the bleeding. And she tries to talk down Will a little bit. Will and Cam Thomas have a little, you know, respect or just like understanding. You know, Will's trying to help Cam and stuff. Danny's more tending to be violent and certainly running the show. And so Cam Thomas is only an EMT, but she dated some other guy, minor role, and he's like an actual surgeon. Or maybe not a surgeon, but a doctor. So she calls him and she's like, hey, I'm the guy, and this is all over the news, everybody in LA is talking about it. I'm in the ambulance with the bank robbery people. And so she's like, I need you to talk me through how to remove a bullet and how to like treat this. And so that guy calls two other surgeons who are on the golf course, They basically have like a video chat while they're driving the ambulance really slow, and the police are kind of letting them, because Will Sharp and Danny Sharp are not going to give up, but they're actually trying to help the officer, so they want that to go as well as possible. And so the surgeons talk them through. Basically, it's just like a bullet is behind the spleen. If the spleen ruptures, they say you have a 60 seconds until you're dead. I'm assuming it's bleeding out. And so they remove the spleen. Officer Zach kind of wakes up in the middle of it, and it's like, oh, why are you in me? Like, literally, why are your hands in my stomach? And so Will tries to calm him down, and he can't do so he just punches him in the face and knocks him out, and I guess it works. And so the doctors are on the thing, and again, the F-guy's watching the live stream, like the telephone call. And right as the spleen does rupture, and right as it ruptures, the cell phones die, so the police basically thinks he's dead. Turns out she's already used all of the medical clamps she can, but she's got a little hair clamp, and puts the hair clamp on, I don't know if it's the aorta or just some artery coming off of the spleen. And so that did the job, and now he's getting more stabilized. But the other police officers don't know because they think he's dead. And so, or because the phone cut off right when it was going on. And so the other police officers are under the impression that the officer Zach is now dead, so they line up some snipers to murk both the homies, and not hit Cam Thomas. At the same time, Danny is trying to, think of a plan to get out. He's got some connection with some Mexican, either cartel people or just gangbangers that either worked with his father or, he just knows through his time as robbing banks. Again, you learn Danny Sharp knows the FBI agent Anson, and Danny's robbed like 32 banks or some stuff. And so Poppy agrees to help him. He's got his main right-hand man, Roberto, and they basically rig up a fake ambulance. I mean, it's a very similar scene to like the Fast and Furious, probably 1 or 2, where they're getting chased by cops and they drive into a garage, and then they open the garage and 100 cars come out. A diversion tactic. And so Poppy agrees to help him with that. They get a couple ambulances. Danny has his shop's secretary, black dude who's watching a soccer game, bring paint and something about flamingos or something, and paint the ambulance green. Not really sure what the play was there. But you have a bunch of ambulances going everywhere, not like a ton, probably like 5 or 6. One of them's loaded up with weapons or bombs. And so Roberto drives down this ambulance to where all of the police officers are laying the trap, drives that down, and it blows up. Not really sure, certainly some injuries, but it doesn't really look like anybody's dead right away. And then on the second, and Poppy, they have 16 million out of the 32, and Danny agrees to give Poppy half of that. And so the first ambulance gets driven down there, blows up, and they're all like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you have another like lowrider, hydraulic, kind of car, and it's like purple, it's got a dummy in there, and it's loaded up with an automatic machine gun, like a turret gun that's just manually controlled. And so they send that car down to the cops, and it's just laying down, big shell, big rounds, and I'm pretty sure it definitely it definitely hits Captain Monroe, but I'm pretty certain that he's dead from that. But you don't really see it from there. So I think that's like the first actual cop that dies. Again, in the big gunfight at the beginning, there was no dead cops, but I think Captain Monroe is the first, pretty much the only cop to die. But I think so. You don't really get a follow-up on that. But he gets hit with a lot of big rounds, so pretty sure he's dead. And so then from that, Danny and Will and Cam and Officer Zach are able to drive into basically Poppy's headquarters. Bunch of Mexican dudes or Latinos, and they have their guns, their grenade launchers, basically their headquarters for criminal activity. And so, Officer Zach's partner, whoever that guy was, he runs down, chases down Roberto after Roberto drives the ambulance with bombs in it and jumps out the back as it's rolling away. Officer Zach's partner chases him down. They're in a tussle for the gun, and Roberto gets his head blown off. Poppy sees it on the news. All of this is being streamed live stream. He's very upset that his right-hand man is dead. And so Danny and Will go up there with the money to this is like a big warehouse area. Cam Thomas and Officer Zach, are still in the back of the ambulance. They go up to Poppy to give him his money, and he's not super happy about, really not happy about losing Roberto, but learns that there's a cop in the back, and he wants to keep the cop to kill him, and probably the Cam Thomas as well. And Will Sharp is a lot more, moral flip-flopping. He's certainly with his brother, certainly doing dirt, but he's got some compassion, doesn't want to do a bunch of dumb shit, hurt a bunch of people. And so he's trying to tell Danny Poppy wants Danny and Will to leave the officer and probably Cam, and Will's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Danny's like, okay, well then you go left, I go right, kind of like a code, because they've been brothers, been working forever, basically saying, we're not doing this anymore, but telling them where to shoot. And so they decide to go left, both of them start shooting around, and there's probably 8 people around, and they kill fucking everybody. And then Poppy's left, like, oh shit. And because Poppy called Will Danny's fake brother, Danny goes, oh, you called him my fake brother, and then double taps him to the head. So that's really when Danny gets violent, and Will, for that matter. But they murk those dudes. They murk a couple other Mexican dudes at this lower level, and then Will goes up to the ambulance. And at the time, Cam Thomas and Officer Zach are like, they're going to kill us, so we got to do the best we can, take as many out as we can on our way out. And so Will comes right around the ambulance, and bam, get a slow motion pop scene from the gun. Cam Thomas shoots Will Sharp in the shoulder. And so now you have Officer Zach, who's wounded but stabilized, Will, who's shot, and Danny, who comes running down and say, who shot him? All the Latinos are pretty much dead now. I mean, there's 1 or 2 left. Danny puts Will in the back, and they get back in the ambulance, and they start going towards the hospital. And so one other Latino dude fires a grenade launcher, kind of misses the ambulance. There's another Latino dude at the farther end. The grenade launcher blows up not blows him up, but he gets thrown into the air and then goes through the windshield of the ambulance. Danny punches him in the face a couple times and falls out the window. And so now they get to the hospital in this green ambulance. You got Will, you got Danny. Danny's in fine health. Cam's in fine health. Officer Zach is pretty stable, and Will is uncertain. And the police cars everywhere, snipers everywhere, and Danny learns that Cam Thomas is the one that shot Will. So he's like, we're going to die together. I'm going to shoot you in the head on live TV. And so, she's like, oh, well, what am I going to do? Opens up the ambulance doors, and then bam, Danny gets shot in the back by Will. So Will's obviously not down with Danny just killing Cam Thomas on live TV. So Danny bleeds out on the ground. Will gets arrested. Both of them are sitting there. Danny bleeds out. Which I didn't know if that was accurate. After police neutralize the situation, don't they render aid? I think so. I don't know. I mean, they're literally in the parking lot of a hospital. So that seemed a little unrealistic to me. Again, after the situation's neutralized. And so, at the time, again, the whole movie, Will's wife, Amy Sharp, and the kid don't know. They think, even calls her one time in the ambulance, yeah, got the job. They don't want me to talk on the phone on the first day, as she's watching the ambulance chase on TV. And so she's at the crime scene, help my husband. And Cam Thomas is he helped me, we should help him. I'm going to keep doing my job as an EMT. And then Cam Thomas tells Officer Mark, or Zach's partner, whoever his partner was, that, he was the one that saved Officer Zach. And so they render aid to Will. During this whole time, Will gives Cam, probably, $100K, $250, it's bank wrap notes, and stuffs it in a bag and is like, please just get this to my wife. And so Cam goes along with that. He gives him a little piece of the money, hides it away in her baby stroller at the scene. Will gets put in the hospital. Danny is dead, and that's kind of, there's a couple ending scenes, but you get you see Amy Sharp, watching her husband. He's in the hospital, but in a police escorted room, but she's kind of hiding the money. You see, there's kind of the ending scene is EMT Cam Thomas goes to check on Lindsay from the opening scene, the child that she didn't have, or didn't care about, but didn't follow up about how she was doing. And so EMT Cam grows a little bit to be more emotionally involved or developed. Danny's dead, Will's in jail, well, going to be in jail, but he's in the hospital, hopefully recovering. Kim, that she has a minor role. William Wallace, who's that guy? Just probably one of the hit crew that dies off pretty quick. Captain Monroe's dead. Victor, all the Mexican dudes are dead, and I don't really recognize anybody else on here. Oh, the Castro is Danny Sharp's security or like business head, but that is really kind of the end of the movie. So my overall grade, I will give it a B+. I really wanted to give it somewhere in the A range. Again, had good expectations going in. Fully liked the the criminality, the violence, the plot development of just like the serious scenes. But there was just too many, like, again, can you guys write a movie without like one-liner quips that don't fucking fit? Like there's a scene where Cam Thomas tries to escape. They're kind of parked in an alley right after they initially break out or get away from the police in the hospital. Or at the bank, excuse me. And she like takes a fire hydrant and sprays it all over Danny and Will to try to escape. Danny pulls out a stick and it's like, nah, a baguette. Stick, baguettes, stickies, baguettis. I don't know, freestyle. But gets it out, sprays him with the whatever the white stuff is that comes out of the fire extinguishers. It's like, oh, how could you do this? This is cashmere. And then you have, again, when the FBI agent meets Captain Monroe, there's just, again, these overly done, oh, you're this, you're that. Oh, they keep saying stuff like every single officer, including the lieutenant who rides around with Captain Monroe, it's always like, we have to get this done by 7 so I can get back to dinner. We have to get this done because the soccer game's on. And it's like, I don't think people would say that shit in real life. Like, it's like, it'd be more serious. So it's supposed to be intentionally like funny scenes or at least lines really threw off the seriousness for me. The seriousness was very good for most of the movie, but the little clips dropped it down from an A ranking. So I'll give it a B+. Thoroughly entertained, really liked it. Serious movies, I like them to be serious. And so that's really the major detractor to me was just one-liner humor quips that a couple other people in the theater really liked them, but it just threw off the seriousness of the movie. The intensity, the cinematography of the action scenes, really, really liked. This was directed by Michael Bay, so big director. Major themes, bank robbery. Yeah, the extensive career in bank robberies, so I know the good ones and the good techniques. No idea, but certainly interesting to watch them on like American Greed or like whatever the scams and scandals and whatever. There was a new show, they're doing some bank robberies and stuff. So interesting to learn, don't really know too much about bank robbing. Dead cops, yeah, fuck dead cops because they don't do their fucking job in real life. You know, you should try to actually enforce the law at some point. You know, I was 180 at the gym today, and again, I like to be 180, 185 to 186. And 5 pounds doesn't sound like much, but I'm back on a liquid diet. I had to drink a protein shake today, and I like to eat 2 meals a day. Can't really eat in breakfast, and I just don't feel safe enough to fit into this world to eat. So I don't give a fuck about police officers' lives. Fuck no. Fuck no. And so, bank robbing, cops and robbers. So, but it is well done. You know, I like this type of action movie. It's pretty interesting stuff. Similar movies. I think the most similar would probably be The Town with Ben Affleck, which I also liked. Have not seen it in years. I think I remember it pretty well. But again, stick-up crews, career criminals, robbers, big chases. You know, the standoff for your life type of deal. They're very similar. Not similar. I don't think this movie was super similar, but in the same genre and the same theme. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Would have gotten up to the A ranking if it did not have the not humorous detractions from seriousness. Thought all of the characters were really good. Cam Thomas, who played her, she was really cute. Let's see who that was. I did not recognize her. In any other movies, Isa Gonzalez. Isa. So she is very pretty. Bonita. Nice. And so there you have it. That is my breakdown of the movie Ambulance. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. And forgot to say spoilers, but this is all spoilers, so you know how this goes. And again, 2 people watch this video, so fuck me. I will never fit into this species. I'm gonna be tortured until I'm fucking dead. I cannot take care. I don't feel safe enough to eat food. I don't. And all I need, that would go away. This is 10 fucking years like this, guys. That would go away instantly if I was allowed to participate in the human species to any capacity whatsoever. But I can't. There's nothing I can do. So, if you have privileges, you might want to go check out Ambulance, the movie. It's pretty good. Thanks for watching.